I think when I'm looking at this issue, my perspective is a little different than most. As a business person on the border, I have seen policies after policies by our federal government that has constantly put the cart before the horse, and the effects are straight down on business and economics and the way we live our normal lives. On the border region, when we're talking about immigrants, we talk about facilitating trade and travel, and we talk about this about our economic immigrants, those who are just coming here to shop, and the difficulties that currently they have just getting the basic shopping visa to come to the United States. That one visa, just for everybody's purpose to understand how the effects come twiddling down, that visa went from $40 to $200. Now, when you're talking about in pesos, that's a lot of pesos. We made the process so cumbersome for these individuals to just get it. They have to get onto a computer. They have to go through the American Embassy. They have to get an appointment, and it's not at the appointment to the nearest embassy where they live. There are people who might live in Reynosa and have to go to Juarez in order to get these visas. So you've got travel time. But what that dwindles down to is to a merchant who in a city, for example, for everyone to understand trade just on the border area, McAllen, Texas's mall, which is owned by Simon Properties, is one of the best facilities you could ever imagine. It is one of the best in sales per square foot in the nation. Highest producers out of a town that's 140,000. So some might say, how is that possible? Well, it's possible because of our trade with our neighbors to the south. And that trade, it's not just in McAllen, Texas, it's in Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, throughout our state. So economically, it impacts us tremendously. But as a merchant, just for y'all to see the effects, we've been in business for over 55 years on the border region, from Eagle Pass, Texas to Brownsville, Texas. Currently, I own a 37,000 square foot building that used to house my store in it. Now my store takes up 6,000 square feet. I've laid off over 15 employees, and what used to be an extremely profitable business is now one that's fighting for sustainability. And it's fighting because of just one program of putting the cart before the horse. We went through, we changed all these visas, and guess what our federal government did? They did not supply the proper amount of equipment to read these cards. Then what happens is we're 6,000 manpower short at our ports of entry and $6 billion short in technology and infrastructure at our ports of entry. So what happens to facilitating trade with Mexico? It affects all of our businesses across the board and affects our state and our nation tremendously. So that is just one example of how one policy of not just for the individuals that are working here and the ones that are living here without their documents, but just how they affect us in trade alone.